For Sammy the Bull Gravano, a notorious mafioso turned mob rat, is out of prison today. His latest conviction was for peddling here in Arizona, making a reported $500,000 per week. He also admitted to killing 19 people.
I just want to make it clear. Am I supposed to use?
Yes, you may talk directly into the microphone. Yeah. Everyone wants to hear.
I just want to make it clear, coming down here before the committee, that it's my intention here to cooperate as much as possible. In other words, I know that the committee has a job to do, and I'm here to help them.
Now, even if I talk, I should never talk about this, and I'm doing so. That's my best way to
That
connect.
is the highest oath you took.
Right.
In other words, that was the most sacred in this organization.
Right. I want
that you would never tell this.
Right. What I'm telling you, what I'm exposing to you and the press and everybody, this is my doom.
Every informer faces a death sentence from the Mafia.
Richard Kuklinski is called the Iceman because prosecutors say he stuffed one of his shooting victims in a freezer. Kuklinski appeared cool in Bergen County Court as he publicly described for the first time how he killed two Pennsylvania men.
I shot George Malaban 5 times. It was it was due to business.
The world of organized crime has long been governed by a strict code of silence known as omertà. However, throughout history, several high-ranking mobsters have broken this code, turning informants and providing invaluable information to law enforcement. These betrayals have not only led to significant convictions, but have also offered a rare glimpse into the inner workings of the Mafia. This video explores the stories of notable Mafia informants such as Mikey Scars, DiLeonardo, Aladena, Jimmy the Weasel, Fratiano, Salvatore, Sammy the Bull Gravano, Richard the Iceman Kuklinski, Abe Kid Twist Reles, and Joseph Joe Cargo Valachi, highlighting their backgrounds, motivations for cooperating with authorities, and the impact of their testimonies on organized crime.
DiLeonardo, also known as Mikey Scars. The government says he's a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family.
Mikey Scars DiLeonardo is a former capo in the Gambino crime family, one of New York City's 5 families. Born in 1955, DiLeonardo climbed the ranks due to his involvement in various criminal activities, becoming a trusted associate of John Gotti. His nickname, Mikey Scars, came from noticeable childhood scars on his face. In 2002, facing legal pressure and the realization of the constant threats within the Mafia, DiLeonardo decided to cooperate with federal authorities. His insider knowledge provided crucial evidence leading to the conviction of several high-profile Mafia members, including Peter Gotti, John Gotti's brother. DiLeonardo's testimony significantly disrupted the operations of the Gambino family and other organized crime groups. After testifying, DiLeonardo entered the Witness Protection Program for his safety. His cooperation marked a pivotal moment in the fight against organized crime, showcasing the impact of insider testimonies in dismantling long-standing criminal organizations.
Frank Borgia was a member of our family, and he had an argument with another member, and they both went to the boss, and the boss decided to kill Borgia. And that's the way it is, you know. Borgia might have been right, I don't know, but they called me and told me to go to San Diego with Frank, and he was going to clip Frank Borgia. So I went to San Diego, and we had somebody bring him in the house, and we choked him and buried him, and that was it. He was a member of our family.
Aladena Fratianno, alias Jimmy the Weasel, born Naples, Italy, 1913. He was chosen for membership of the Los Angeles crime family, and with 4 other candidates, he went through the traditional secret rite.
5 of us went to a winery on Western Avenue in Los Angeles, and they took me in first. They take you in one at a time, and there was like 40, 50 members of the family there.
Last Mafioso is the story of Jimmy the Weasel Fratiano and his life and times in the Cosa Nostra, the mob. In his autobiography just published, Fratiano tells of his 30 savage, brutal, treacherous years in the secret society known as the Mafia, and of his last 3 years in the Witness Protection Program as one of the most valued of government witnesses against the mob. Fratiano was accepted for Mafia membership back in the 40s, he says, after he showed that he could bust heads with the best of them. He graduated to robbery and extortion, to pornography and loan sharking, and, of course, to murder.
Jimmy, who was the first person you killed?
Frankie Nicoli.
Where'd you kill him?
In my house.
How'd you kill him?
We strangled him.
In your own living room?
Right.
And then he dirtied your living room?
A little blood.
Yeah, a little blood and a little, discharge.
Right. How'd you know that?
Urine. Urine.
A little urine, yeah.
You smile when you think back about it.
Well, what are you going to do?
After you shoved a gun up against Tony Brancato's head, you were apparently proud of yourself because you say that you said, most guys just ain't got the stomach for it. They're squeamish. I can't figure them out.
Aladena Fratiano, 67 years old, husband, father, retired trucking executive, the son of hard-working immigrant parents. A Cleveland boy who grew up to become Jimmy the Weasel, mobster, murderer, mafioso, and admitted enforcer for La Cosa Nostra. Listen.
And I'm going to tell you one thing that I don't give up. Moses, coppers or no coppers, I'll blow your mother head off. I'm going to tell you right now, you ain't with no kids.
A tough-talking guy, but he does his talking now in the Federal Witness Protection Program, testifying against his La Cosa Nostra family. So far, 20 convictions.
Aladena Jimmy the Weasel Fratiano was a high-ranking member of the Los Angeles crime family and one of the most significant informants in Mafia history. Born in 1913, Fratiano's criminal activities included murder, extortion, and racketeering, earning him a reputation for ruthlessness and cunning. In 1977, facing life imprisonment and internal Mafia threats, he decided to cooperate with federal authorities. Fratiano's insider knowledge led to the indictment and conviction of numerous mobsters, exposing the Mafia's infiltration into legitimate businesses and unions. His testimony provided law enforcement with crucial insights into the Mafia's national operations, significantly disrupting their activities. After testifying, Fratiano entered the Witness Protection Program and later authored a memoir, The Last Mafioso, detailing his life in the Mafia and his cooperation with authorities.
Are you a member of any secret organization? Yes, I am.
What is the name of it?
Cosa Nostra.
In this 14-month period of undeclared war and what you term declared war, do you know how many people were killed altogether during that time on either side or both sides?
Senator, I got the score. The score was we lost 1, and they lost from 40 to 60.
Find him. What did you mean by that?
I'll get him. They can't find him means they can't find him to shoot him. So I said I'll find him.
What does that mean in your terms? Did that mean that you were agreeing yourself to kill him?
Oh, yes, Senator.
Joseph Joe Cargo Valachi was a member of the Genovese crime family who became one of the most significant informants in Mafia history. Born on September 22, 1903, Valachi was involved in various criminal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, and murder. In 1963, while serving a 15-year sentence for narcotics charges and fearing for his life due to a perceived threat from crime boss Vito Genovese, Valachi decided to cooperate with federal authorities. Valachi's testimony before the U.S. Senate committee in the Valachi hearings provided a detailed account of the Mafia's structure, operations, and rituals, including the introduction of the term Cosa Nostra to the public. Although his testimony did not lead to immediate convictions, it significantly raised public awareness and gave law enforcement valuable insights into organized crime, leading to more effective future prosecutions. Valachi spent the rest of his life in prison, dying of natural causes on April 3, 1971. His cooperation marked a turning point in the fight against organized crime by breaking the Mafia's code of silence and exposing its inner workings.
Reles. Abe Kid Twist, the scourge of Brownsville, reputed to be the leader of a band of Brooklyn hoodlums who have allegedly put murder on a business basis. Tonight, the committee will probe into the charge that Reles and his gang are closely tied to the leaders of the National Crime Syndicate, that they are, in fact, the execution branch of a fantastic underworld kill-for-hire organization known as Murder Incorporated.
I just want to make it clear, in coming down here before the committee, that it's my intention here to cooperate as much as possible. In other words, I know that the committee has a job to do, and I'm here to help them. Because I think that I could help myself. In other words, there's a lot of confusion surrounding my name. And I think if I can clear that up, I help the committee, I help myself.
Have you finished your statement?
There's only one other point that I wanted to make, and that is, as long as we could keep this whole thing on a high level, I think we'll be able to have a productive session.
Abe Kid Twist Reles was a notorious hitman for Murder, Inc., the enforcement arm of the National Crime Syndicate in the 1930s and 1940s. Born in 1906 in Brooklyn, New York, Reles earned his nickname for his ability to escape difficult situations and his ruthless efficiency in carrying out murders. He worked closely with other infamous mobsters, including Louis Lepke Buchalter and Albert Anastasia. In 1940, facing the death penalty for multiple charges, Reles chose to cooperate with law enforcement. His detailed testimony led to the conviction and execution of many high-profile mobsters, including Louis Lepke Buchalter. His cooperation provided invaluable insights into the workings of Murder, Inc. and the broader Mafia network, significantly disrupting their operations. Reles' cooperation ended mysteriously when he fell to his death from a window at the Half Moon Hotel in Coney Island in 1941, where he was under police protection. The circumstances of his death remain controversial, with many believing he was murdered to prevent further testimony. Reles' decision to inform and his subsequent death left a significant impact on the history of organized crime in America, providing a rare glimpse into the brutal operations of Murder, Inc.
Richard Kuklinski is called the Iceman because prosecutors say he stuffed one of his shooting victims in a freezer. Kuklinski appeared cool in Bergen County Court as he publicly described for the first time how he killed two Pennsylvania men.
I shot George Aladena 5 times. It was it was due to business. Louis Masgay on July 1st, 1981. I shot him once in the back of the head.
Kuklinski's motive was robbery. In exchange for the guilty pleas, prosecutors dropped 22 charges against the former Dumont resident, among them the 1981 murder of a Cliffside Park pharmacist, whose body has not been found.
Well, let me tell you something about the Iceman. And he killed a couple of people for bullshit. Bullshit money. Borrow $1,500-1,800 off of this guy. You can't play him. He calls him up. Come in, I'll see you tonight. And he kills him.
Richard the Iceman Kuklinski was an American contract killer, notorious for his brutal methods and involvement with organized crime from the late 1940s until his arrest in 1986. Born in 1935, Kuklinski earned the nickname the Iceman because he would freeze his victims to obscure their time of death. He claimed to have killed over 200 people, though this number is debated. Kuklinski worked with various crime families, including the De Cavalcanti and Gambino families, using a range of methods from shooting and stabbing to cyanide poisoning. Kuklinski was arrested in December 1986 after a lengthy investigation, including an undercover operation by a federal agent. he was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. While he did not traditionally snitch on the Mafia, his detailed confessions during interviews provided law enforcement with valuable insights into organized crime. His interviews, particularly those conducted by HBO, revealed his personality and the extent of his crimes, contributing to public and law enforcement understanding of the criminal underworld.
I was a good, loyal soldier. John barked and I bit. The words belong to Sammy Bull Gravano. The John, he says, is John Gotti. The barking and biting have to do with murder. Sammy says he killed on behalf of Gotti. The defense says he killed on behalf of Sammy. Which one is the jury to believe? Gravano admitted today he expects to be testifying for the government in various cases for a couple of years. And after 5 days of cross-examination in this case, Gotti's lawyers do not seem to have turned things their way.
Not since Joe Valachi in the 60s has such a high-ranking member of the mob turned traitor. Sammy the Bull Gravano now joins the ranks of those who have broken the cardinal rule of the Mafia, omertà, the code of silence. And what makes his betrayal all the more shocking is the fact that he was John Gotti's best friend. It was here at the Ravenite Social Club on Mulberry Street, one of John Gotti's favorite places, where Gotti and Gravano hung out and talked for hours. Little did John Gotti know that years later, this man he raised to be at his right-hand side would knife him in the back. How significant a player was he in terms of getting this conviction?
Well, he was probably the most important ingredient of all outside of the tapes because of the fact that here you had a man who was directly appointed by John Gotti as his underboss, as his #1 aide, who turned against the Dons.
Our country is sick to the core if it is willing to pay for testimony by literally absolving a person of 19 confessed murders.
No figure has generated more interest among the public than Joe DiCicco. Something in his personality seems to connect with much of the audience. His feelings about Sammy Gravano, who turned on John Gotti, come through loud and clear.
I want the police department, I want the president to know about it. That if he was in the street today and I was face to face with him, I would kill him in 2 seconds.
Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano, a notorious mafioso turned mob rat, is out of prison today. His latest conviction was for peddling here in Arizona, making a reported $500,000 per week. He also admitted to killing 19 people.
Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano is a former underboss of the Gambino crime family, one of New York City's most powerful mafia organizations. Born in 1945, Gravano rose through the ranks due to his involvement in murder, extortion, and racketeering. By the late 1980s, he became the underboss under John Gotti, playing a key role in Gotti's rise to power, including the assassination of former boss Paul Castellano in 1985. In 1991, facing multiple charges and potential life imprisonment, Gravano decided to cooperate with federal authorities, driven by legal pressure and disillusionment with Gotti. His testimony was crucial in securing convictions against John Gotti and numerous other high-ranking mafia members, leading to over 39 convictions and significantly disrupting the Gambino family's operations. After testifying, Gravano entered and later left the witness protection program, eventually authoring a memoir titled Underboss. Despite his cooperation, he continued to face legal issues, including a prison sentence for running an ring in the early 2000s. The testimonies of these mafia informants have had profound impacts on the fight against organized crime. By breaking the code of omertà, they provided law enforcement with critical insights into the operations, hierarchies, and criminal activities of the mafia. These informants not only facilitated the convictions of numerous high-profile mobsters, but also disrupted the mafia's operations and weakened its influence. Their stories illustrate the significant risks and consequences of turning informant, but they also underscore the pivotal role that insider information plays in dismantling criminal organizations. Through their cooperation, these informants have left a lasting legacy on the history of organized crime and law enforcement's ongoing efforts to combat it.